Pop quiz. Name a Batman villain. Okay, now I'm gonna venture to guess that probably about 90% of you said the Joker. 5% of you thought of the Joker, but then you were like, oh no, that's what everybody's gonna say. And then you thought of, I don't know, some other villain. And then the other 5% just clicked off the video when they found out there was gonna be a quiz. Most likely because the Joker is a really popular character. It also could be because I put the Joker in the thumbnail, and so you already had him in your mind. Either way, what I'm trying to say is the Joker is a very iconic villain in the Batman series. Maybe it's because despite the comic book illustrator's best efforts, there's no way he can look as scary as an actual clown. Or maybe it's because every time we see a new incarnation of the Batman, the Joker is one of the main go-to bad guys. Whatever the reason, the Joker is very clearly a powerful character in the Batman universe. In terms of marketing, that is. Otherwise, why would they call this guy the Joker? Doesn't really look like the Joker. Comic books invent new supervillains all the time. They could have just made a new one. Could have called him Joker Fan, or Meth Head, or Punk Rocker with a splitting headache. Maybe just call him 30 Seconds to Reboot. Topical. Anyway, have I rambled on enough? That's an intro. If you haven't guessed, this is 5 facts you might not know about the Joker. Number 1. In Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight, we saw the Joker on the silver screen for the first time with his smile permanently carved into his face. While this is a departure from former theatrical portrayals of the character, it does bring the character back much closer to the description of Gwynplaine, the character from the French novel The Man Who Laughs, which was actually the original inspiration for the Joker. Number 2. The Joker has had numerous backstories, including a failed chemist, a failed stand-up comedian, and a failed rock star, apparently. So we don't actually know the true backstory of the Joker. While the most popular backstory continues to be the one from Detective Comics number 168, where we see that the Joker was originally called the Red Hood, who fell into a vat and was permanently deformed, thus changing his name to the Joker. But I think this adds to the genius of Christopher Nolan, a director who very much loves to tell backstories, deciding to create a character who just shows up one day. He even made the very undefined origin story part of the Joker's character. Though I do wish he would have told a few more of those stories. He only told like 2 in the film. They should make like a book on tape. Maybe Audible can get on that. Number 3. In the Joker's first appearance in Batman, he was originally supposed to be killed off, but the editors saw something in the character and decided to bring him back. Incidentally, they did the same thing with Steve Urkel in Family Matters. Has nothing to do with what we're talking about, just a fun fact. That one's a free one for you. Number 4. Many of you might know that Mark Hamill, star of a little trilogy that you might have heard of, playing Luke Skywalker in the Star Wars franchise, also began playing the voice of the Joker in 1993 in many Batman properties, including movies, TV shows, and video games. But you might not know that voice actor Troy Baker played Robin and Two-Face in the video game Arkham City, Two-Face and Batman in the video game Lego Batman 2, and the Joker in the video game Arkham Origins and the animated film Assault on Arkham, making him the only actor to have ever played Batman, Robin, Two-Face, and the Joker. Unless you count Poison Ivy, who's probably played all those guys at some point. And number 5. In the 1940s to the 1960s, the Joker was not the crazy serial killer that we know of today. He was more of a silly, mischievous prankster. This is thanks to the Comic Code Authority, who wouldn't put their stamp of approval on a comic book that portrayed a serial killer who, on a regular basis, would literally get away with murder. Well, I guess fictionally get away with murder, since all of this is happening in a made-up world. Semantics, I suppose. Well, there you go. Do you have any cool facts about the Joker? Let me know in the comments below. Also, subscribe so you can keep up with all these cool and interesting facts about movies. As always, I'm Kevin, and those are the facts.